Hi and welcome, chart artists. Beautiful Monday. And the most important question, why is there a picture of a Ferrari in my thumbnail? Okay, stay tuned. I'll share the alpha here together with you. We'll analyze Doge. We'll go through a little bit of Bitcoin. Ethereum's time to catch up, the forgotten child. Perhaps this is the momentum that we need. We'll look at Bitcoin dominance. And as always, I've had a special conversation with my favorite exchange, Bybit. By simply depositing $100 and trading $500 in volume, you get 30% of your money back. Right, go down into the description right now, sign up. This deal is not going to last forever. For my community only. Right, let's get into the charts and see what is going on here. Okay, first thing I wanted to highlight is that if you zoom out onto the daily time frame here on Bitcoin, you can see the high, and I've connected the low, a normal little fib. Bitcoin is roundabout in between the 786 and the 0.618. When you then translate this to the price of Ethereum, also where I connected the high to the low, you can see that we've just recently broken out of the 50% fib level. So Bitcoin is roundabout over here. And can we see ETH catch up, finally having that explosive move here to the upside to catch up to Bitcoin? The lost child, the coin that no one wants to trade anymore. Is there enough steam in the tank? The one thing I did have a look at is, if you look at Bitcoin dominance, and if you've been watching my previous YouTube updates, you will see that I've been eyeing this area over here as a possible rejection area for dominance to start going down, giving some love to the altcoins. Right, and that's exactly what happened, where I said this diagonal resistance over here together with the 786 could give us that rejection that we need to the downside to pump some love into the alts. Will this be enough to send some of the altcoins exploding into the air, like Ethereum, for example? Right, let's go back here onto the price of Ethereum. Just take the brushes out, and you can see we've finally broken out of this parallel channel that I've had over here. Okay, and during my previous YouTube update, I said I want to see us retest this high for bullish momentum to continue here to the upside, not coming back into the channel, which could mean acceptance back into the channel. We're either going to hit the 50% of the channel, perhaps reject, or even the bottom of the channel. Right, for now, it looks quite bullish. We have broken out, and let's zoom into smaller time frames. Let's go on to the 4 hour and see what is happening over here. And here you can see Ethereum broke out of the channel, it came and it retested this high, and now it looks like it wants to find momentum here to the upside, which could potentially mean that you want to see this 50% fib level from a macro perspective hold for continuation to the next level, which is the 618. So on the medium time frame, I do see us at least hitting the 0.618 here at 33.48 for Ethereum. A little bit further up, if I zoom into the structure going back to the 12 hour, you can see that we have a clear pivot high over here, which could be that ultimate target for Ethereum, which is around about the $3,500 mark. So if Ethereum can hold its momentum here to the upside, this is definitely a nice little profit taking zone and a target area for where Ethereum can go to. Then, why is there a Ferrari in my thumbnail? Let's look a little bit at news and market sentiment at the moment, and we'll get to that right now. Tony the Bull writes, Bitcoin versus money supply on the verge of a breakout. Okay, perhaps inverted head and shoulders pattern, shoulder, head, shoulder, and we could potentially see a breakout here to the upside, sending an inflow of money into Bitcoin and some of our favorite altcoins. Trend line drawn across candle bodies hasn't been an all-time high since 2017. Right, up next, Jelly writes, we retested it over the weekend. Up next, send Bitcoin to $60,000. But they wouldn't believe me because megaphone pattern sounds stupid. So, you know, there's the megaphone pattern. We've broken out. We've already done a retest. Can we see that momentum here to the upside? Right. So, still bullish. Right. Next up, no Bitcoin dips allowed. BlackRock now owns 6.2 billion in Bitcoin and Fidelity 10 billion in Bitcoin. So you can see that the demand is extremely high at the moment versus the supply, which is driving the price of Bitcoin up at the moment. Then, new Rich Dad Poor Dad author says Bitcoin to $100,000 by June 2024. Quite an optimistic target. Will we get there? Only time will tell. And as traders, we can only trade level to level, but still bullish nonetheless. Everyone is extremely bullish. Then, hence the picture in my thumbnail. Big breaking, Ferrari goes big on crypto. Ferrari is now accepting Dogecoin as a payment method for luxury sport cars in the US. Is this the catalyst Dogecoin needed to start rampaging here to the upside? Also, like Ethereum, that forgotten meme coin that everyone has just been ignoring, we will analyze the price of Dogecoin here together. Let's get back right into the charts. Right, okay, so we've spoken about Ethereum. Let's look at Dogecoin. If you zoom out here onto the daily, you can see massive downtrend here on Dogecoin, and we have been consolidating for incredibly long. Since 14 May 2022, we have been stuck inside of this channel, and will we now finally have the breakout to the upside using that catalyst that even Ferrari is now accepting payment for luxury sport cars in Dogecoin? Let's zoom into the smaller price action here and see what is going on. Okay, so first things, we've been inside of this consolidation area, and you can see that I've been tracking every little breakout to the upside. Let's go into the 8-hour. First momentum I tracked is to say I want to see us break this momentum to the upside, which we did. We broke out, we retested it, and we found the top of the channel where we started rejecting again. And then I built my new momentum line here to the upside, where you can see even this little consolidation that we've had over here lasted for quite some time, building up that spring for the next move. And now it looks like that next move was to the upside. Okay, so is this the moment where we are going to see coins like Ethereum and Dogecoin explode into the air like some of the other alts that haven't done it already? So purely from a trend line perspective, you enter the breakout, stop below the low, and you're targeting the highs. But perhaps we will see much higher prices from Dogecoin. Also, when you look at the history of Dogecoin, it has this knack of having these massive rampages to the upside and it comes crashing down. Massive rampage to the upside comes crashing down. So could we see one of those godly candles shoot up here in the air? So for now, going back here onto the smaller time frames. Okay, I have now played this breakout here to the upside, and I wanted to see this resistance flip into support, which we've done. We rejected, we broke through with high green volume, we retested the support, and now it looks like we're finding momentum here to the upside. If I zoom in, even here onto the 1 hour, this is the momentum that I'm tracking, is to say, this momentum here to the downside, once we tested this resistance and we flipped it into support, now we're finding this little momentum here to the upside. Will it hold? You know, purely from a breakout perspective, you want to enter, manage your risk, stop below the low, targeting the highs. But could we see that godly candle from Dogecoin that no one is expecting based on some of the news that's coming out? Okay, so definitely a coin that I'm keeping an eye on, and I've been in this trade since we've had this little breakout over here, and perhaps this is going to be one of the meme coins that's going to surprise us in the next coming days or weeks. Right, let's go and analyze the price of Bitcoin here together. Okay, let's zoom into the smaller time frames. Let's go back onto the 1 hour. Take the fib out the way. Let's zoom in here. What can we expect for Bitcoin's next move? First thing I noticed is we broke a little trend. And if you do not know how I apply this one-line strategy, go to YouTube, go onto my channel, and you will see a video called Easiest Trading Strategy. If you'd like the simplest trading strategy that I've ever come across, please come and check out this video. Right? It might be a life-changing strategy, as some people say you can make trading as difficult or as complicated as you want, and this trading strategy has been making me significant gains with this momentum here to the upside in the recent 2 weeks. Right, let's go back to the price of Bitcoin here. Okay, so first thing up, we've broken this little momentum here to the upside, and obviously what I'm looking for is for us to come and claim this high at least. Okay, so keeping it simple, you know, go watch that video where I explain my one-line trading strategy, which has been phenomenal up to right now, and perhaps we will still see one more move up before potentially a deeper correction. Right, let's switch on some horizontals, range low. Also, the one thing I did want to highlight is that when you look at this range low that I spoke about on Friday in my YouTube update, played out to perfection, where I said, if we find momentum here to the downside, you want to see us tap this level, get acceptance back above, and move away from it. Played out to perfection. If you took this trade, congratulations. And if you're not trading with any exchange yet, like I've mentioned, go down in the description right now. deposit $100, trade $500 in volume, and you get 30% of your $100 back. Okay, cool. So for now, this is the momentum that I am monitoring here from the upside. Also, I just want to see what the fixed range is telling me. And the one thing I do not like at the moment, so although it looks bullish and we can go claim the high, the one thing that I'm not too big of a fan of, if you take a value area from this entire range, you can see that we've now broken back into the value area high. Okay, purely from a range trading perspective, the rule is you deviate above, you come back down, you either test the point of control or the bottom of the range. We had another deviation, came back down. Up, down, up, down. You can see how we are respecting this range. Then we had a deviation to the downside, we got acceptance back in, and then we started moving up. Right, so for bullish momentum to continue here for Bitcoin, I want to see us break out of this value area high for momentum here to the upside. Okay, still, if you've watched my previous YouTube updates, targets that I'm looking at for a potential turnaround is, let me switch that on. You can see we are currently, which I still call the danger zone, right? We are in a resistance block over here, which has the 1.236 and the 1.382, where I'm still looking at possible rejection areas either at this level or a fifth wave target from a macro perspective, which is here at $53,000, 430. If you don't know where I get these levels from, please go check out my last 2 YouTube updates where I explain exactly where I get these targets from. A little bit further up, I'm also looking at the 555 area. So for bullish momentum to remain here to the upside, I want to see us break this level with relatively high green volume and a closing candle above, which could build up that momentum to break the next level, and then you want to observe to see what happens over here. A retest, a closing candle above with high volume could then spell that we are going to come and hit this level over here. But honestly, for now, what I'm seeing is I am seeing this area as a potential turnaround point for Bitcoin to go and make a deeper, healthier correction to the downside, just to cool off a little bit. It just feels like it's been going up and up and up, and we need a little bit of a cool off. So still targets that I'm watching over here. Okay, also, just as a little bit of a recap, what I'm watching, if I switch on my local Elliott wave scenario, this is kind of what I'm still looking at the moment. Let's go here onto the 4 hour. Right, you can see that if this is a 1, 2, 3 to the upside, where we've either already completed the third wave or we still need to go and complete the fifth wave. So if this bullish momentum continues here to the upside and we reject here either by the fifth wave target that I have over here, the 0.618, or the 1.618 over here, then what it could mean is that the third wave moves to that level or a little bit higher up, where I'm still seeing a deeper fourth wave correction for a possible bounce, then to go and complete another impulse to the upside, the final fifth wave. Right, and I think what we'll have to do is, depending on how price develops here, I will just move this FIB up to go and work out where the fourth wave could potentially bounce. Okay, so from a higher time frame perspective, please keep an eye on Doge. Like I've mentioned, next up, Ethereum, it needs to hold outside of the channel to potentially come and claim the $3,500 level. And then Bitcoin dominance. Let me just take the scribble out here. You can see if I go here onto the daily. Okay, let's just zoom out here a little bit just to refresh everyone. And I have mentioned this in a couple of my YouTube updates. I've been tracking this momentum here to the upside from an Elliott wave perspective to say that what if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have now completed the fifth wave for now, where we could potentially see a deeper correction to the downside for then coming to claim that 60% level that everyone is eyeing. So for now, we have to acknowledge that if you look at this price action over here, it looks like it's curling over. Okay, you made a high, you made a higher high, and now we are starting to make lower highs. Okay, lower high, which could mean, purely from an Elliott wave perspective, this is what I'm seeing. Let's just take some of the scribble out. Let's zoom in here to the 12 hour. I just want to go into this price action over here. One scenario that I'm watching is to say that, well, perhaps this is a rejection and we find support by this consolidation for a bounce up to come and reclaim the trend to go to that 60% area that everyone is eyeing. Or another scenario is to say, well, perhaps this is the first wave of more impulses to the downside, which could really be very bullish for some of the altcoins, where you potentially have a bounce, you have another rejection, and you start making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive waves here to the downside, which then ends the bigger C wave, where you have the top of 5, you have an A, B, C, and then we find continuation here to the upside. If this scenario had to play out, I mean, you can just see how much love this will give to some of the alts like Doge and Ethereum and some of the alts that hasn't run yet. So only time will tell. But from a smaller time frame perspective, this was the area I was watching for a rejection. And not because I think it's a second wave to the downside. That we have diagonal resistance, and when you take your FIP from the top to the bottom, you can see it was also in confluence. This diagonal resistance was in confluence with the 0.786, where I expected a little bit of a rejection here to the downside. Okay, so we'll just have to see that even this move, look how bullish this has been for Ethereum, for example. A small little correction here to the downside is sending ETH into the air. So definitely this little momentum up here could be enough for ETH to catch up. And I mean, by all means, if we do bounce in this area, we can either go get acceptance back above, or we find more continuation here to the downside, which is just going to be absolutely crazy from an altcoin season perspective. Right, then like I've mentioned, if you want to see the best trading strategy that I've used during the last 2 weeks for this massive momentum here to the upside, making insane gains, please go and check out this video right above my head. Happy Monday, everyone. Enjoy the week. Until the next one, cheers for now.